The brain is in charge of many different functions, including memory formation, coordinating movements, processing sensory information, emotional regulation, regulating bodily functions, and other cognitive functions. Alzheimer's specifically damages the memory, causing confusion and difficulties in daily tasks. Cell biology specifically plays a role in Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's is thought to be caused by the misfolding of the macromolecule protein. The protein that is misshaped is the tau protein, and it acts like a prion. Misfolding of proteins happen during or after translation. During translation, the ribosome links the amino acids together through peptide bonds. When proteins are misfolded due to mistakes in the amino acid chain, the protein should be refolded using a chaperone protein, or destroyed by a lysosome or proteasome in the ER, instead of being sent to the membrane. However, in Alzheimer's these misfolded proteins aren't degraded and are instead accumulated. In fact, a prion is an abnormal shaped protein that turns sticky. It causes other normal proteins to turn into prions too. These prions spread, and this plays a role in the cognitive decline. Scientists are currently studying these prions by using techniques such as fluorescence microscopy and electron microscopy. Alzheimer's also involves mitochondrial dysfunction that causes limited ATP production. ATP is used in everything, and reduced ATP causes impaired synaptic signaling, which leads to a cognitive decline. The nerve signaling is disrupted due to the misfolding of these proteins. The protein misfolding in the tau protein tangles and causes vesicle transport to be blocked, leading to synaptic failure. Alzheimer's disease also is impacted by the accumulation of beta amyloid plaques, which are a dense group of a protein that are not functioning correctly. For proteins to function properly, they are dependent on their three-dimensional shape that is based on interactions from the amino acids. When this folding is disrupted, the proteins stop functioning correctly. In protein sorting, misfolded proteins should be recognized and degraded. The problem in Alzheimer's is not the loss of the proteins, but the accumulation of toxic proteins. They are not being degraded properly. The buildup of the proteins specifically affects neurons. Neurons rely on membrane proteins for signaling, transport, and communication, and the change in membrane potential influences whether an action potential will occur or not in a neuron. Cell signaling pathways are crucial in maintaining homeostasis and typically respond to stress and regulate neuron survival. In a normal cell, if it does not receive the correct signals from the cell pathway, the cell is programmed to undergo apoptosis. But in Alzheimer's, the cell signaling pathway is affected. Specifically in Alzheimer's, the APP processing pathway is at an imbalance. This causes aggregation of neurotoxic monomers, causing plaque formation. This aggregation results in blocking ion channels, disruption of calcium homeostasis, mitochondrial oxidative stress, impaired energy metabolism, and abnormal glucose regulating. The altered synaptic function eventually causes neuron cell death. GSK-3-alpha-beta and CDK5 are the kinases that cause the phosphorylation of tau. Normal tau proteins stabilize microtubules, but in abnormal microtubules the hyperphosphorylation of tau causes dissociation of tau from the microtubule. Meaning that in Alzheimer's the microtubules collapse, blocking vesicles and synaptic function. Ultimately, these collapses cause neurofibrillary tangles within the cell. The accumulation of these tangles causes the death of a neuron. In Alzheimer's, the neuron loss is extreme, which causes disease progression. This extreme loss of neurons in areas of the brain like the hippocampus and entorhinal cortex are what is responsible for things such as memory and social behavior being affected. In the final stages of Alzheimer's, the disease is fatal. Scientists are still working to understand what causes Alzheimer's, but it is believed that genetics, health, and lifestyle factors all play a role. Specifically, the apolipoprotein E, ApoE gene, increases the risk of Alzheimer's. Genes are segments of DNA. The ApoE gene is involved in making a protein that carries cholesterol and other fats in the bloodstream, and problems in this process influence the development of Alzheimer's. Besides genetics and age, scientists are studying other factors that play a role in the development of Alzheimer's. They believe that there may be a relationship between Alzheimer's and diabetes, obesity, hearing loss, depression, and heart disease. As scientists are still researching the relationship between these health conditions and Alzheimer's, they are urging people to reduce their risk for Alzheimer's by promoting brain health. They suggest doing this by improving lifestyle factors. Specifically, managing chronic health issues, staying physically active, eating a healthy diet, and getting a proper amount of sleep each night. Overall, there is still a lot of research to be done regarding how cell biology impacts Alzheimer's, but over the past few years progress has been made.